All right, it's the Thursday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. We're gearing up for the 4th of July holiday weekend, and all things considered, we've got a really nice forecast, especially for the 4th itself tomorrow. First, a little housekeeping this evening. This will be the last weather for Weather Geeks in about 10 days. I've got some time off starting tomorrow, taking us through July the 11th. First time I've had some, extended time off since back in the winter season, so looking forward to a little time away, a little rest and relaxation. And so Weather for Weather Geeks will return, I think it's on the 13th, whatever that Monday is, I think it's maybe the 14th of July. So yeah, 10 or 11 days from right now. But in the meantime, we have some geeky things to talk about this evening. And on this July 3rd, not only is it the 40-year anniversary of the release of one of my favorite movies, Back to the Future, but this year, July 3rd, happens to be Aphelion Day here on Earth. And what we mean by that is we're actually in our farthest point in our orbit around the sun. The Earth's orbit around the sun is not a perfect circle. It's more of an ellipse. So there are times of the year in which we're closer to the sun, and times of the year in which we're farther away. And here on July 3rd this year, we are at our farthest point. It's about 3.1 million miles farther away than in January, which is when we reach perihelion. Now, of course, if you're watching Weather for Weather Geeks, you are scientifically inclined enough to know that the reason for the seasons, of course, is not our distance from the sun. It's about the axial tilt of the Earth. We're tilted towards the sun here in the northern hemisphere. In the summer season, we actually begin tilting towards the sun at the equinox in March, but we're at our most dramatic tilt, if you will, at about 23 degrees towards the sun on the summer solstice, which is usually June 20th or 21st. And of course, now we're beginning to back away a little bit, and as we hit the September equinox, the Earth will be not as tilted at all, really, and we start tilting back the other way, of course, as we head towards winter. And the northern hemisphere tilts away from the sun, and that means, of course, winter in the northern hemisphere and summer in the southern hemisphere. So yeah, it's Aphelion Day. We're farther away from the sun, but that really doesn't have much bearing on our weather, of course, or our seasons. And on this summer evening, it's a delightful summer evening, hardly a cloud in the sky. Any isolated showers and thunder showers in northwest Ohio should miss us this evening. The activity off to the east is going to stay off to the east. There were some big hail-producing storms earlier on today in the Finger Lakes region of New York and near the New York-Pennsylvania border. Not exactly a severe weather hotbed, geographically speaking, but they had some pretty mondo thunderstorms earlier on today. All right, if you're going to be finding your way to the water tomorrow or over the weekend, that's going to be a great idea because it's going to get hot this weekend. Our water temperatures are running above the average on Lake Erie. For a lot of the spring and early summer, they were a little below the average. But of course, the warm weather that we've had over the last few weeks has warmed up those lake water temperatures. So whether it be at Geneva on the lake or offshore from Ashtabula or even back towards Cleveland, water temperatures are getting well up into the 70s now and even pushing 80 at this time of the year, into the 80s in the more shallow western end of Lake Erie. And these, of course, are just the Lake Erie water temperatures. Some of our smaller area lakes, Guilford Lake and Mosquito Lake and places like that, of course, the water temperatures are very balmy here in the middle of the summer season. Well, speaking of the water, it's that time of the year. A lot of people vacation to the southeast in the summer, and anyone finding their way down to the beaches of the Carolinas and down towards Hilton Head in Georgia and around the east coast of Florida, the weather will be kind of interesting over the next few days. Now, this isn't going to be a huge deal in the grand scheme of things, but it's possible that a tropical depression is formed, and outside chance even that a tropical storm is formed this weekend off the coast of the Carolinas and Florida. Now, this will not be a big wind producer, I think, for a lot of the southeast. A lot of the rain and gusty winds will stay offshore, but it will produce a rip current threat for the beaches of the Carolinas. Think Myrtle Beach and think up towards the Outer Banks. And, it's just a sign of things to come as we head deeper into the summer, of course. We get into the heart of tropical season in the Atlantic Basin. 4th of July, of course, is our hottest holiday, major holiday anyway, when it comes to climatology, our average high locally. On the 4th of July, 82 degrees. It was kind of interesting. Jimmy Wendelek cooked up this graphic this morning, and it's a little startling to see Halloween on this list as the 4th warmest major holiday, but it is the case. A lot of our major holidays, of course, are in the winter, from Thanksgiving through New Year's, but Halloween, our average high is 58. Next on this list is Easter in 5th place at 57. But yeah, obviously the 4th of July, climatologically speaking, our hottest holiday of the year. Labor Day beats out Memorial Day in terms of average warmth here in our part of the country. So not much to show you on Futurecast for the next few days. High pressure gives us a beautiful, beautiful Friday. It's going to be just like today, just like yesterday. some of the modeling on Saturday with our warm front lifting through wants to spit out a shower, including this model right here, Saturday afternoon. I don't think the chance is zero that someone sees a random renegade shower or a thunder shower in the afternoon Saturday, but it's like a 5-10% chance kind of a thing. I certainly would not alter outdoor plans because of any minuscule rain chance of Saturday, and we will certainly be dry on Sunday with a full supply of sunshine. Enjoy this break from the high dew points while we have it. The dew points stay in check on Friday on the 4th of July, but look at the rapid increase in those dew points over the weekend, sending those readings up into the upper 60s, lower 70s, and sending heat index values probably to between 92 and 95. But even though the weekend's going to be hot, this is not a particularly scorching looking, 10-day forecast for, we're getting into climatologically speaking the hottest time of the year. Once we get done with the upper 80s, lower 90s this weekend, I think we're going to spend a lot of time in the lower and middle 80s in the medium range, and that's pretty much par for the course. That's almost exactly where we should be at this time of the year. Our average high is about 82 each of the next 10 days, and we'll be within shouting distance, a degree or two at most, probably, of that average high for much of the time once we get done with the hot, extended holiday weekend. So again, I'll see you back here on July 14th. Thanks for tuning in to Weather for Weather Geeks on this Thursday evening. Have a great 4th of July, a great holiday weekend, and stay safe, everyone. I'll see you soon.